This is the grand unified field put together.
In the English language, nothing becomes nothing. But that can't exist in the universe because everything is something within the universe. Even if it cannot be seen, it is something. It's just unseen something. So we're dealing with the unified field theory, which I truly believe is, as defined by the Shabaka stone, the waters of Nun.
A Nobel Prize nomination for physics this year. We are very pleased to have Dr. Oyibo with us.
Ariel Oyibo created the unified field theory. It's an education based in quantum physics. The theory combines the works of both Einstein and Newton. Unified field theory blends math and science to give insight into the very basis of our existence.
There's a natural mystic flowing through the air.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Phil. Today I'm going to be doing a comparative analysis of the Shabaka stone and Terrance Howard wave conjugation ideology. So if you don't know what the Shabaka stone is, it's an ancient African document that basically explains how the universe came into existence, right? Terrance Howard's his ideology, his wave conjugation ideology, theory, whatever you want to call it, is explaining how everything works as far as on the quantum level and how the universe works and how it came into existence, basically. All right, so that's why I'm comparing the two, because I saw similarities. Whether you agree with Terrance Howard or not, I mean, I just found it interesting watching his interviews, and I read his book, 1 × 1 = 2, and the man got 94 patents or something like that. He's not 90-something patents. So, I mean, I don't know how patents work, but I'm pretty sure you got to, it's got to be something. It's something that didn't basically exist before you patented it. It was something that wasn't, discovered before you patented or proved or claimed. Like, you put a claim on it to where somebody else can't, I guess, claim the rights to it. I don't know, but I don't know. Patent, to me, you got to be doing something intuitive to create a patent. I guess I could say the least. So, I mean, if he got 90-something of them, to me, that kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. So, whether you think he a genius or whether you think he crazy and he got no credibility at all, I don't know. I'm just jumping right into it, so I don't make this video too damn long. I got some notes. I'm gonna be reading off this, y'all. So first off, Terrance Howard says all things come from waves, even atoms are waves, not particles.
If we get the electron world wrong, we get called the planetary atomic model. You know, the model with similar model is a planetary with the orbiting free electrons. We get this model wrong. So what I find is there is no free orbiting electrons around the nucleus at the near the speed of light forever. So what I found, atomic model has no rotation part whatsoever in atomic model. There's no rotation. It only what the parts may vibrate.
It's all vibratory oscillations.
The Shabaka stone says all things come from waves, the water of Nun.
The waves of Nun, this is where you actually see them show you the water. This is what the Meduneter symbol looks like of the Nun. You can see the waves on the body, but look, it's a black body with waves of electricity.
The Egyptians recognized the number 1 as the source from which all things are formed. The number 1 represents the creator. Terrance says these waves are made of electricity and magnetism, and says the electricity is masculine and magnetism is feminine. Professor Kaba shows that the Shabaka stone says that the waters of Nun is made up of electricity and magnetism, and says electricity is masculine and magnetism is feminine.
Electricity is a male energy. Magnetism is a female energy. Okay? Electrical energy creates magnetic fields. Magnetic fields creates electricity.
Electricity is always seeking a higher pressure condition. It spins northeast, is trying to get to the center of an area, the center of a cone. But the next electric wave is coming, so it gets pushed out, and as it's pushed out, it gets to the vortices. And that's on those pieces, those vortices. Now, instead of it spinning northeasternly, centripetally, it's forced to spin centrifugally, and it spins southwesternly. And it expands itself out, it decays, it keeps decaying until you get 4 magnetic waves that hit each other at 120-degree angles. At that point, they reconvert back into the electric field.
The ancient Egyptians said the number 2 represents male and female. Terrance says that the electromagnetic wave of electricity and magnetism is like the waves in a bowl of water. If you drop a pebble in the center of the water, the waves will begin to expand out until they hit the edge of the bowl. Once they hit the edge of the bowl, those waves will return back to the center of the bowl, colliding with the waves that were going towards the edge of the bowl. So the colliding of these waves is like the white water or foam we see in the ocean when the waves are colliding together. Terrance says this disruption in this wave-like electromagnetic field that makes up everything we see around us gives rise to the physical universe. It's the colliding of those waves in the electromagnetic field that gives rise to the physical universe. The magnetic waves are the waves that are expanding towards the edge of the bowl. The electric waves are a result of the magnetic waves intersecting each other, coming back after they hit the edge of the bowl. It's like the white water of the foam from the waves colliding in the ocean. That's the electric wave. Terrance also says that these waves are not two-dimensional because everything in the real world is three-dimensional. So this explanation is just for the sake of understanding how the waves function. But the expanding waves are actually expanding in 3 dimensions like a sphere. It's when these expanding magnetic waves hit each other is when we get the conversion of the magnetic wave back into the electrical wave, creating what we call the physical universe, or the first element, which is hydrogen, according to Terrance. It takes 4 of these magnetic bubbles coming together to make the first physical element, hydrogen. The space in between where the 4 bubbles cannot touch is what we perceive as the atom or element hydrogen, according to Terrance. I'm gonna pop up a picture on the screen and show you where the 4 bubbles meet. Each of those curved sides is 3 sides that's curved, and on the bottom that's a side too. So that's the 4 bubbles meeting. The 3 on the around the edge, and the 4th one's on the bottom. That's where the 4 magnetic bubbles can't touch. That's what that's representing.
Now, instead of it spinning northeasternly, centripetally, it's forced to spin centrifugally, and it spins southwesternly. And it expands itself out, it decays, it keeps decaying until you get 4 magnetic waves that hit each other at 120-degree angles. At that point, they reconvert back into the electric field. This is what happens when 4 bubbles meet. This is the negative space where they can't touch each other. This is hydrogen.
And Terrance says that's what a atom really is. It's waves. It's not a particle like protons and neutrons and an electron going around. Each proton, each neutron, each electron is a positive and a negative charge, not just positive, not just neutral, not just negative. That's the way he sees it. But anyways, Terrance also likes the explanation of Walter Russell, who laid out the periodic table according to vibrational frequency. According to Terrance and Walter Russell, each element has a specific vibrational frequency. In the case of hydrogen, it would have the frequency of 40.5 hertz. But if you look at Walter Russell's periodic table, there are 3 vibrational frequencies that are woven so tight they cannot be perceived by our senses, which are alpha 9, beta 9, and gamma 9. But once the 4th unraveling of this electromagnetic wave field happens, we get the first perceivable element on Walter Russell's periodic table, which is hydrogen. It's interesting that the first perceivable physical element is a result of the number 4, because in ancient Egypt, the number 4 represents a solid foundation upon which all things are built, the cornerstone. It plays an important role in the Shabaka stone as well. Professor Kaba showed in the Shabaka stone that Ptah comes into being out of the waters of Nun. Ptah represents the primordial hill that comes out of the waters of Nun. Then the god Atum rises out of the waters of Nun up through Ptah and sits on top of Ptah, the primordial hill. Atum brings into existence the 4 essences of pre-existing. These 3, in my eyes, comparing with Terrance Howard's ideology, is like the alpha 9, beta 9, and gamma 9 woven so tight that we cannot perceive them. It's not until we get to the 4th unraveling of the electromagnetic wave that we get the first physical perceivable element hydrogen, according to Terrance Howard and Walter Russell, right? So the significance of the number 3 is shown here in both the Shabaka stone and in Terrance Howard's ideology.
The primate of the essences that calls things into being. Here you have the visual. Now, by the way, this is all created. I had to create this because there was no place I could find this. So as I began to develop an understanding of the Shabaka stone, I said, well, I'm going to draw it for the children so that they could see it. Right. I taught this in 4th grade science. This can be taught to 4th graders. This can be taught to children that are 8, 9, 10 years of age. Here is the second half of the story.
The number 4 in the Shabaka stone comes into play after Atum manifests or calls into existence the 4 uncreated pairs, which are 4 pairs of gods or natures, which represent characteristic of the physical universe, or give rise to everything in the physical universe, just like how the number 4 gives rise to the physical universe in Terrance Howard's ideology, because it takes 4 magnetic bubbles meeting to create the first physical perceivable element of the physical universe, which is hydrogen, according to Terrance Howard, Walter Russell, right?
And here is the pictograph. And again, these were things that I created in order to visually tell a story in the 20th century, in the 21st century, that was not available to us. These are visuals of the foundational concepts of how the universe came into existence through the matter, through the space, infinity, finity, darkness, light, the hidden and the unknown. The essences, the males were frogs and the females were snakes. The frogs represent metamorphosis. This is the stages that the human family went through to become who we are. Frogs. Snakes, females, represent resurrection.
The 4 uncreated gods, pair gods, it's a pair of 4, are Nun, Nunet, Ha-Het, Ka-Kaket, and Amen and Amenet. These 4 pairs are shown in hieroglyphics without a belly button to represent the fact that they are uncreated. They always existed. If you were born without a belly button, it means you did not come from a mother. You already existed. All of the other Egyptian Netrus or Egyptian gods have a belly button, right? But remember that 4 pair of gods, the uncreated creation, it's 8 uncreated creations, but it's 4 pairs. But that relates to Terrance Howard's ideology, because in order to have 4 magnetic bubbles, you must first have electricity to convert into the magnetic bubble. So therefore, the 4 bubbles really represent 2 things, because behind every magnetic bubble is an electric masculine wave. For every feminine magnetic bubble, there is a masculine electric wave. Therefore, each bubble really represents the feminine side of the masculine electric wave. So the value of the number 2 is represented in each of the 4 bubbles, representing masculine and feminine, which is added up to 8. Just like there are 4 pairs of uncreated creator gods, but there are 8 creator gods in the Shabaka stone, right? Uncreated creator gods in the Shabaka stone. So I'm saying, like, it takes 4 bubbles, according to Terrance, magnetic bubbles, to create that the first element, perceivable element of the universe, hydrogen. And it's 4 pairs of uncreated creator gods in the Shabaka stone. But those 4 pairs are masculine and female. Ha is Nun Nunet is what Atum calls into existence. Nun Nunet is Nun is the feminine, Ha-Het is the masculine. Nun is the feminine, Nunet is the masculine. Ha is the feminine, Ha-Het is the masculine. Ka is the feminine, and Kaket is the masculine. Amen is the feminine, and Amenet is the masculine, right? So why I'm saying that, because each of those 4 bubbles, the magnetic part is the feminine part of the bubble, but behind every bubble is a masculine principle, because you have to have the electricity to create the magnetic wave, right? So each of those waves, even though it's 4 bubbles, is representing 2. It's the opposite side of the electricity, so it has a value of 2. So those 4 bubbles really have a value of 8, right? In a sense, you see what I'm saying? So those 4 bubbles, if you add up, if you give those 4 bubbles a value of 2, they all equal 8, and they both have all the bubbles have a masculine side, which is the electricity, before it was converted into the magnetism. Just like the 4 creator guys have both sides, of masculine and the feminine, the uncreated creators guys, right? So that was the similarity between Terrance Howard's ideology and his wave conjugations and the Shabaka stone that I noticed. I don't know whether you agree with Terrance or not. It was just interesting because I saw how it related to the Shabaka stone, and it seemed like it fit pretty well. Yeah, man. I hope that was easy to follow or easy to understand. But yeah, I'm gonna hit y'all up. I'm gonna get back with y'all in the next video, man. Holla at me.
Going